what is the average cost of a wedding in 2023?
Yeah, I would probably say our average right now is in that $65,000 to $75,000 range in Nashville. Yes.
65 grand.
65 grand.
Is that normal?
Bite your tongue.
Like, that's so much money.
It is. Well, I mean, I would say 7 years ago, that was half of the cost.
Miller points to inflation and supply shortages for the sharp rise in cost. And there's nothing quite like the price tag to bring couples back down to reality.
Stop spending a bunch of money on things that don't even matter. I know that there's always going to be people that give in to the demands of women. And let me break it down like this. Let me bring it back, right? We're gonna break this down point by point. Number one, most of the time, it's the women that want to spend a lot of money on a wedding because we know that women do things to impress people that don't even care about them, right? When it comes to the wedding ring, when it comes to the wedding itself, when it comes to what it is that you drive, their nails getting done all the way, almost everything that a woman does, it has nothing to do with men. Men don't care about the length of your nails. Men don't care about the size of your wedding ring. None of that matters to us. And so when it comes to the wedding, a lot of times we're making sacrifices for the person that we quote unquote love, but we're not doing the thing that's in the best interest of ourselves. And I'm an advocate for being successfully married, right? Meaning that there's some people that I think that should remain single for the time being until they're ready to get married, if they ever decide that they want to get married. And that's cool if they never do, because you'll be fine either way. And then there's some people that want to get married, but I don't advocate for people to get married unless they're going to be successfully married, because how you start off often at times is what it is that you have to maintain or grow into, right? And so when I see guys a lot of times and they lead with their money, or they start spending a lot of money at the very beginning of the wedding, but they can't A, either sustain it, or B, have nothing to grow into, it's not going to be a blissful situation, and you're not going to get the best out of her, and you two together are not going to grow. You have nothing to grow into because you're marrying for your current circumstances instead of marrying based off of where it is that you're trying to go, right? When I first got married, we spent $300 on both of our rings. I think the wedding we put together for less than $1,000. And we had it at like our local church or something like that. But every 5 years after that, I've upgraded her not because she's asked for it, but because it symbolizes a milestone in our specific relationship, right? But let's bring it back to the wedding, right? I think the common mistake that I've seen with people that I've coached over the years, and I've been married for almost 20 years, right? The common mistake that I've seen, over the years is that people leave with their money. They get big wedding gifts. They spend a lot of money on weddings, and $65,000, $75,000 for a wedding is insane, right? I mean, even me, right? I make a lot of money. I mean, when I say a lot of money, I make an egregious amount of money at this point in my life. But to renew my vows, let's say I renew my vows at the 20-year mark, I would never spend any more than maybe $10,000, $15,000 at max, right, on anything. And I don't have anything that I need to work on, right? I know a lot of people say I'd rather spend that on a house instead of, a wedding or whatever like that. It's stupid. It's just stupid spending a lot of money for no reason, just because you can, just because you have the option to. And most people that get into a relationship, especially when it comes to wedding planning and all of that, they don't have the access to be able to spend that without going into debt as a result of it. People put it on their credit cards. They borrow money, they get loans. And even if you didn't, especially early into a relationship, never spend that much money on that, that early of a relationship, because you'll never get a return on that investment, especially if you ever break up. You're not gonna get a return on that $65,000, $75,000. Conversely, if you spend, let me say it like this. If I were getting married today, I would just go down to the courthouse and get married, right? I would shoot over to Vegas and get married. There's no way, even with the amount of money or what my net worth is, that I would ever spend a whole lot of money on a wedding. Because all you're doing is creating an environment where a bunch of people can come eat for free and talk stuff and then criticize you as a result of it, or talk about what they didn't like about the chicken, or, throw a bunch of stress and stuff into it. And maybe I would, right? At 20 years, maybe I would allow for her, I would consider allowing for her to be able to plan for something like that or whatever like that. But that's because, we've grown into that. It's not something that would ever affect me from a financial perspective and she's earned the right to be able to do that. But for new couples or for people that get married, even if you're spending $10,000, $20,000, that's stupid. I think it's dumb for people to even spend a whole bunch of money on rings. I think it's dumb for people to still talk about that 3 to 6 months salary in order. Man, you telling me I got to work a quarter of the year, give a quarter of it or almost a third of it, depending on what tax bracket that I'm in, over into the federal government for taxes, and then to give another 25% over to you just to get a ring, just to get something that's not even worth it, just to get something that can be, you know, some stone that's mined out, or a worst case scenario, a stone that is lab grown, that's not even gonna be worth what it is that you paid for it, and you getting finessed by jewelers, you getting finessed by the wedding planners, you getting finessed by everything. And then they saying that the prices is basically double of what it was 7 years ago based off of inflation. Listen, I understand that materials cost more, whatever. You getting taxed because they understand that you under duress and that the woman is gonna pressure you, and if you got it, she gonna take every penny from you in order to continue to make herself happy in order to impress people instead of impressing you. She's spending more time impressing everybody that they invited over into the wedding instead of impressing you. Impressing you, meaning that she needs to submit to your vision, understand that it's best for y'all to continue to do the thing that's, you know, that's in your that's in your best interest, instead of doing something that's gonna put you behind the 8 ball that you're gonna have to spend the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years in order to pay to get out of debt, just to have a day in which you say I do, in which you probably didn't want to do it in the first place, but you got pressured into it. It's stupid, it's dumb, and people need to be wiser, they need to smarten up. And this is another reason why you also need parents, and you need a tribe, and you need people to go to that can give you more insight. That's not a simp, that's not living that happy wife, happy life lifestyle, so that you can do things that's in your best interest. Traditionally, I believe it was the father of the bride that paid for the wedding, right? That's kind of been a thing. And even before that, there was a dowry in which the groom or the family of the groom would pay a dowry over into the wife's family in order to even be able to marry her. But I don't agree with that either. You don't pay for poom poom. But we have to get out of this mindset of going into debt in order to justify love. There's nothing loving about debt. Love is an action word, and if you love me, then you're gonna do the thing that's in my best interest. If y'all having a conversation about marriage and she talking about spending a whole bunch of money, then it's probably a reflection of how she's already living her life. She probably got a bunch of student loan debt. She probably got credit cards. She probably gonna retire once she have children, because she's looking to live the soft life now, and you're gonna be under duress for the rest of your life. You're probably gonna pass away before her, and then she's gonna marry over into somebody else after they get done stomping on your wedding and dancing at your wake, all right? I hate to break it to you like that, but I'm trying to give you a reality check to help you to understand, do not go into debt and do not do the things that's not in your best interest. Make sure that you are always looking at marriage, looking at relationships, and looking at everything from a business perspective first, and then the love aspect comes into it later. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that it makes sense to spend $65,000, $75,000, even $50,000, $25,000? I've heard of people even spending $100,000 on a wedding and then buying a car as a wedding gift for the wife. Crazy, insane. Let me know in the comments what you think. Tap into the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. I love you, I appreciate you, I'm gonna holler at you later. Peace.